Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Just finishing up watching the Emiratis NBA Cup, and it was definitely a treat. Honestly, I love the tournament. It's been, for the most part, amazing. Um, there's been some moments uh, to really enjoy and be captured. We're seeing rivalries being created, like tonight between Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder, and also we got to watch Atlanta versus Milwaukee. And despite Milwaukee getting that W, Atlanta Hawks, Landry Fields have a lot to look forward to. So much young promise. DeAndre Hunter, man, I just really appreciate his versatility, his tenacity. Um, we hear so much about Jalen, JJ, and Trey Young. Good to see Capella out there still swinging, fighting. Because he's been around a while now. He was with James in Houston, so he's played a lot of basketball, and it's truly inspiring to watch a guy hang around that long, uh, and really battle like the way he is, honestly, on a nightly basis. Quinn Snyder, I can't say enough good things about him, man. He took that Utah team to first place when they had Spider and Gobert, and now he's got this Atlanta Hawks team scrapping every night. Dyson Daniels having records that are replicating Michael Jordan. Are you kidding me? Defensively, um, his steal milestones are just crazy right now. So, uh, but I want to talk a little bit today about the trades that are going on. We had a minute trade for the Indiana Pacers, getting. I'm seeing is Thomas Bryant, the guy who was calling for the ball in the infamous LeBron first place all time in scoring. He attended Indiana University, and they have a shortage of bigs right now, so they went and got him. Even though I like the performance from Moses Brown, um, the Pacers wanted to get some veteran experience over there. It's not Jalen Smith like I was hoping for, but that's definitely a great move. Even though Thomas hasn't really been performing, I don't know why the Miami Heat aren't starting him next to Bam. He has the ability to knock down, a 12-footer out there. So I'm shocked that they didn't use him for themselves, especially with Kyle Ware, their rookie who from Indiana, who really is a phenomenal player. I don't know why he's not getting minutes. But with that being said, the bigger trade today on the docket, uh, you know, the Golden State Warriors acquiring Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets, who prior to Cam Johnson going down, uh, they they were actually a fun team to watch, but obviously, um, him getting injured kind of made them say, hey, you know what? Let's start pushing towards the draft. A little questionable ethically wise, how blatant it is, but with him being injured, um, it kind of softens the blow. Uh, with that being said, uh, first of all, we got to address the elephant in the room, the big time international star, and Dennis Schroeder, who has always had a great Olympics, but this is one of the best years he's ever had in terms of performance. He's first in mid-range field goal percentage, which I found to be ironic going to the Warriors, knowing what they've meant to the three-point line historically, and them getting a guy like Schroeder who specializes in being a mid-range maestro. Um, but with that being said, um, it's they feel like they needed more guard depth. Little bit of a head scratcher knowing they got GP2, Pods is there. Dunleavy to me, I know it looks like to some people that they fleeced the Nets and it was a great value. These days, those 3 second round picks they gave up, and the expiring contract of Melton, let me tell you, it's not from the naked eye. It's not as a big a net victory as you may think. Look, at the end of the day, that's not what the Nets problem. I mean, what the Warriors issue is. You passed up Podstemski for Markkinen, and now you got this guy here in Schroeder who adds to their depth. Even if they plan on making a bigger move, it is confusing the locker room. It's going to be a little nerve wracking because people know it's got to be another move coming because GP2 and Steve Kerr, I mean, GP2 and Pods is there. And, there's already difficulty getting minutes for your small forwards with all the Jimmy Butler news. Moody's still there, who they just re-upped. Wiggins is a Finals MVP for the Warriors. So that's got to hold some weight because that's how you build culture in the locker room. And so, which is another reason why I don't think it's not a big enough of a margin for a trade to happen. Wiggins for Jimmy Butler, nor is a Kuminga deal. I'd wait till the offseason both sides if that's the case, because Kuminga is not enough of a move. That's not enough compensation for Kuminga. But to me, it's just you know, in the short term and in the long term, I'm not a big fan. I just think Schroeder has too much main character for whatever role they want to put him in. They're trying to find that third guy. You got Curry, you got a two guard. Whether last year was in the years past, whether it was Clay or now Buddy Hield, they always are trying to find this third, live wire to try to you know subsidize supplement like whatever that is that's missing, that drop off, right? They're trying to get this like bootleg run TMC almost. And I'm gonna be honest with you, um I'm just irritated because it's like why don't you get a big man who can space the floor? That's what needs to happen. I would have net dropped every investment piece, every asset I had to get Vucevic, to get a Zach Collins, to get a Wendell Bryan. Hell, even Marvin Bagley from the Wizards would be fine. You need a big. Draymond at the five is cool for spurts. That's how they won championships. And so for them to just continue to overkill with guards, it just is very annoying to me and disappointing. And I don't think Dunleavy comes out looking great. This was just a move that everyone's all excited about because the trade deadline's in February, December 15th. It's the first day of people actually being able to get traded. It was funny because Kerr the other day said we're probably not going to do anything until February, and then the next day something happened. But I'm going to trust that there's another move, but it is annoying that there isn't that move now. You know what I mean? But timing is everything. Um, to Brooklyn's side, I get it. I forgot Cam is injured. So, okay, you get 3 second round picks. With the new CBA, what people don't realize, I think, and it just dawned on me, second round picks are more valuable than first. When you got a first, you're more locked into guaranteed money. Now, don't get me wrong, Jalen Wells just broke the record for highest paid money for a second round pick of the Memphis Grizzlies, and he's having an amazing rookie campaign as a second round pick. So that in a microcosm, two things kind of lets you know. And one of the G League standouts for the Brooklyn Nets, Wilson, he won Summer League MVP, was a pick formerly of the Grizzlies, if I'm not mistaken. He prior was the highest paid second round pick in the NBA history. But Jalen Wells just reset the market this offseason, even make it more than Bronny, despite Bronny carrying the marketing side of this year's draft, since there were so many unfamiliar international players, unless you were a scout, they had to use per athletic Bronny's likeness on flyers for the Vegas Summer League just to promote it because nobody knew who Ricochet and Alex Sarr really was. And again, unless you're like a real basketball junkie or just a simple hoops enthusiast, aficionado, etc. So now you're watching this all unfold, and it's like you got three of those things, non-guaranteed. You don't have to make guaranteed, and you're knowing these mid-majors are producing some amazing talent. Internationally, we see the adoption that's going on. International talent is so abundant; they're coming to the Division One schools now, and filling up those roster spots. So really, the Brooklyn Nets are on their job. You know what I mean? If anything, and Cam, we don't know when he's going to get back. I'm still not a huge fan of their roster from the standpoint, I don't like rim protectors who have no offensive game. They spent a lot of money on on their five. I won't say his name. I don't want to. I don't want to. Yeah, but they got 196 million on Cam Johnson, and then you got, you know, Finney Smith, Ben Simmons. There's guys who got to get moved. If you're, that's the thing. I'm like, even if you want to move on, you got to keep a point guard to at least be honorable. I guess Wilson will take the minutes, the summer league MVP, but it's just like, you know, it's a tank job over there. But I find it interesting in this new landscape with the CBA and all the restrictions, like contracts having to match now, and you can't just take on dead money for draft picks and things like that. You actually have to make it work. And Milton is an expiring contract. It's actually very interesting to me that, the Brooklyn Nets, um, you know, got 3 second-round picks. Those are going to prove to be very extremely valuable because there's amazing talent nowadays. So don't think this was a fleece job at all. Brooklyn might actually come out on top, because here's the problem. Anyone can look good in the NBA if you build the team around them. Dennis Schroeder had no pressure. The Nets had no pressure. They were just out there freewheeling, up tempo, nothing to lose, no care in the world. You know what I mean? Now he's going into a system where no team passes the ball more than the Golden State Warriors. They lead the league and team they're one of the lowest in ISO and one of the most infrequent passes in offense. I think number one. So they're a system organization. Now, if he comes off the bench, it might relieve a little bit, but you're going to see some confusion. You're going to see some choppiness from Dennis Schroeder. Don't think he's going to come in and give you Brooklyn Nets performance. I don't want to say it online because I got a lot of mutuals who are Warrior fans, and I've already taken enough heat, telling people that Curry's not a point guard. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a big fan for Schroeder in this system because there's a lot of ball movement, and he's an ISO, I need the ball in my hand kind of guy. He's going to look for a shot. It's cool when you're next to a LeBron, a superstar who can draw a double team, and they need you to go get yours. But Curry's a rhythm shooter. Draymond doesn't look for his shot. Buddy Hield is, Buddy Hield, we don't know. It's a cycle thing. There's a running joke. Wiggins, we don't know what he wavers. And Kuminga's a ball Kuminga's in this contract year, so there's a little bit of confusion, not a little bit of mass confusion on how he's going to go about being who he is, while also managing the fact that he has a contract extension on the books, and he's trying to make a point because he's turned down a significant amount of money regardless of the ecosystem and what others are getting. So Schroeder coming from Brooklyn, it's going to take some time to get adjusted. I feel like he might pop out with a big game or two, but at some point it's going to get confusing because it's very weird when you're playing next to a guy like that in Curry, who's like a supreme shooter, can catch fire and change the whole dynamic, realizing when you can and can't shoot it, especially as a score first kind of guard. He is a great on-ball defender when he wants to be, and he can distribute. But this is a very, very nuanced, sophisticated offense, and the one time you choose to make a mistake, it can cause a derailment, like a train derailment. You know what I mean? Like a big mass effect. This is a very particular, fine-combed offense that you have to know. Nuanced offense. Steve Kerr, we know his lineage, we know his prestige. So I'll say I have to be a little bearish on the idea that this is great for the Warriors, even if there's a bigger move and he still can be moved at the deadline, but like even if it's a bigger move, I'm telling you right now, I'm not a big fan of his performance and the fit with the Golden State Warriors. I don't see the benefit of it, to be honest with you. They keep bringing in these guys who they think are going to be their Sean Livingston. Again, he's an elite mid-range shooter this season, but not what the Warriors needed, and he's going to take some detoxing from being able to imagine like being self-employed or being self-employed and then having to get a job and like getting back to waking up at 8 o'clock in the morning as opposed to starting your day at noon. That's kind of what it is. That discipline now has got to change, and certain habits going to have to change, because you're certainly not going to be the main character in Golden State. There is a system in place. So if anything, this is not a big fan of it, but we'll see, honestly. All right, Utopians, I'll try to do better next time. Global, out.